Okay, so hopefully you've tried these problems on your own. What I would like to do is show you the work that you need to see, and I'll probably do it on the right hand side so I'm not writing in the box. So 100 times the quantity z minus 0.2 equals negative 10 times the quantity 5z plus 0.8. Now 100 times z gets us 100z. 100 times negative 0.2 gets us a negative 20. So negative 20 is really minus 20. Negative 10 times 5z gets us negative 50z. And then negative 10 times 0.8 or 0.80 would get us negative 8. Now, once again, I recommend putting the z's to the left-hand side first. So I'm going to add 50 z's. Now notice I'm not going to line it up underneath the negative 20. I have to line it up underneath the 100z because they're both z's. And then it's 150 z's minus 20 equals negative 8. So we can add 20 to both sides. So 150 z equals 12. And then we can divide by 150. So then z, if you take 3 out of it, I can divide or simplify. Sorry, that should be a 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then this is 50. So it should be 4/50. Let's check to see if we are correct. 4 divided by 50. Check the answer. They said z is 0.08. So if you give it as a fraction, let's see if 4 over 50 produces 0.08, which it does. So I will mark it right if you give it a fraction or a decimal, totally fine. So 4 over 50 would be accurate. Now, for part B, notice that we have 5/8. We want to multiply everything by 8. So I'm going to rewrite it over here. We have 5/8 times the quantity 16d plus 24 equals 6 parentheses d minus 1 plus 1. So you want to multiply everything by the bottom number, which is 8. So 8 times 5 is 40 over 8 is 5. Now, since the only thing that's left on the left-hand side is the parenthesis, we already took care of that side. So we're left with 16d plus 24. Now 6 times 8. Don't be afraid to use the calculator. 8 times 6 is 48. Now we don't have to use anything in the parentheses because that 6 is touching that. But we do have to do 8 times 1 because the 1 is not inside the parentheses. So once we do that, we can now distribute. So 5 times 16 gets us 80. And that's a positive 80. And then don't forget the d. And then 5 times 24, which is 120, equals 48 times d, which is 48d, 48 times negative 1, which is negative 48, plus 8. And now we can combine these like terms. Now that the parentheses are gone, negative 48 plus 8 is negative 40. Now the most important thing to do is make sure that you are keeping organized and that you are rewriting everything you did not use. Now, like I've said before, I'm going to minus 48d on both sides. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because I want the variables all on the left. So I like to do that first. You may have a different preference, and that's fine, as long as your work makes sense. I ran out of room, so I'm going to write it up here. So 32d plus 120 equals negative 40. So then I'm going to minus 20 on both sides. So then I'm left with 32d equals negative 160. Divide by 32. Technically, you can divide that by 2. So you could get negative 80 divided by 16. And you could probably divide by 4. So then negative 20 over 4, which is actually negative 5. So let's see. I didn't have my calculator up, so I was doing it in my head. And let's see. Negative 160 divided by 32 will get you negative 5. So you didn't even have to simplify like I did. You could have just entered negative 60 over 32 in the calculator, and it will get you negative 5. Let's see. If I type in negative 5 here, check the answer, and it says D equals negative 5. So we are correct.